boy! Wimp.
Yeah. I don't know why, but something is wrong.
Rule Britannia.
The TV is crazy and the truth has gone. I might be crazy, but I think we're done. There are people out there who are adverse to fun.
Communism is king.
It's on your news. Even your neighbor has been here. You can see it on you. All the things they don't want you. Tom Generation Next. Oh, it's what's coming next. Tom Generation Next.
Commander Worf, don't be a cunt.
The Honesty Channel.
I'm having such a good time.
Kill everyone on the bridge.
Having a ball.
Fuck you, Mr. Rascal.
My name is Owen Jones, a renowned drama queen, pseudo-intellectual and champagne socialist.
That's for B4.
What can I do? People no longer love the truth.
Shut the fuck up.
What's true? That's why we gotta shine a light. Oh, shine a light, shine a light. We gotta shine a light. Oh, yeah. Together forever. Yeah. Tom Generation Next. Oh, it's what's coming next. Tom Generation Next. Yeah. Tom Generation Next. The Honesty Channel. Zero news and now. Tom Generation Next. It's gonna shine a light. Generation X.
Welcome, I'm Tom Fury. This is Zero News. Sorry about the long intro, but it's necessary on a new channel going live. I appreciate, by the way, people who watch this on replay, that I have given you no notice, no warning. I wasn't planning to go on live myself, to be honest with you. In fact, today was a particular no-go for going live. But Happy New Year, Happy 2026. And I've had a particularly relaxing time, which is unusual for me this time of year, but I have had a particularly relaxing time. I hope that's sounding okay. Ooh, just took it off. Yeah, and as a result, I'll take that over all the other dramatic possibilities. It has just been relaxing. Even someone like me never totally switches off. It's just never going to happen, but to be relaxed is good. So yeah, it's been a good one for me. I'm happy to say so, and I hope it has been for as many of you as possible. But the reason that drove me to go live was, yeah, being sobered up a little bit by just the story I saw. That, I mean, you know, there's always bad things happen at Christmas, but this particular story, I don't know, it got to me. It got to me. So, I mean, in short, it's about a mother and two children dying in a fire on Boxing Day. I don't know if ever you've been. Hey, Steve. Happy New Year, mate. Happy New Year, Steve. Good to see you, buddy. I was thinking of, what was that I was thinking of last? Oh, yeah. No, I'm not going to tell you. It just has some funny things to do with you and Rage. But I was going to, I've ruined it now. I was going to show you, I was going to make something for you. But anyway, another time when you've forgotten. Where was I going? I forgot where I was now. 1 second. Oh, yeah, yes. So, I don't know if you, Steve, if anybody that watches this has ever been in a house fire or ever seen a fire up close that is out of control. Now, I'm someone who I can, you know, like the fire blowing and all that stuff. I can do all that shit using a fucking stick and some what do you call it? Barbecue, not barbecue, fire lighter fluid. And you might think that's incredibly dangerous. It's pretty much what they do, and anyway, just using slightly different chemicals. And there's a safe way of doing it. And And my point being is I'm not afraid of fire to do that, yeah? However, a controlled fire, and it is, when I do that, it's a controlled burst, short controlled bursts. That's fine. If have got a bonfire or something, and that thing starts to go out of control, you'll see me move really quickly, because once you've seen and been close to a fire that goes out of control, you realize it's not how you see in the movies, and it's not how you imagine it to be. It's not how you imagine you've got all this time to do a bunch of stuff, and that you could run through a fire, for instance, or do all these crazy stunts and that they do. No, the fact of it is, very quickly, a fire starts eating a wall, and a wall becomes a room, and the room becomes a room in a hallway very quickly. And it's relentless, and the heat that it builds up around it is like a heat shield. You're not running through the fire because you're not even getting close to it. You run into a heat shield that will melt your face off if you keep running towards it. So you will have to give up and turn back. So there's no running through the fire, not in that situation, not once. And that we're talking minutes to get to that stage. So we wind back by minute and a half. So we're about a minute and a half into it. So fire's started, it's taken out the electricity. So you're operating in the black, you're operating in the dark already. In my case, I was about 9 years old, I'm guessing. So also not got the common sense either at that age. Thankfully my mum was there, but although she didn't do the best thing, she tried to fight the fire and nearly lost. But yeah, I mean, it climbed up, it took the electric out, but it seemed like it wasn't going to do much more, and then suddenly just climbed a wall. It just gets to a certain temperature, and then everything goes up. The doors were closed for obvious reasons. I remember after the fire was over, just the heat creeping through the tops of the doors, just the little gaps in the doors, was enough to melt all the Christmas decorations around the house. The heat just on the ceiling level. And bear in mind, it only got in the kitchen and the hallway. So, but the speed in which, once it had started, that it went over the ceiling and started to engulf me and my mum, was incredible. Absolutely incredible. Just raw power. Raw power that, like I say, you see in these films and you think you could fight. You ain't fighting that. You ain't fighting that. No more than you're fighting a tidal wave. You're not fighting that kind of power and that kind of raw energy. It's just not happening. It's like trying to stop the tide coming in. So yeah, so then I see this story, and this family wake up at 3 a.m. on Boxing Day to a fire, and the mum and dad can't get to the kids, and so in the end, the dad smashes out the building to try and get to him. The wife's still in. I'll probably try and get to him the other way. I don't know. He can't get to him the other way that he's tried. So he reverses back course, goes back, and as fires do, they move quick. He now can't get in the way he came. So he's now isolated from his kids and his wife. So he then goes to another entrance to try and break in. Can't get in. Runs to another entrance. He's smashing every door and window he can try and get to, and he can't get in, or he finds the fire impassable. And this is happening to him and to them until the point where the emergency services arrive and try and help him. Too late, and not their fault, but too late. He had to know. He's trying to break through doors that you might think, well, how did he not manage to do it? Well, It's real life. He couldn't run through certain fires because nobody can. And he lost his wife and his kids in a fire. I don't know exactly how the fire started yet. Probably just saying innocent, but the point of it is, it was 3 o'clock in the morning, so it could have been electric, it could have been anything. But yeah, and it's just particularly hard hitting. You imagine he's lost everything, and he did his damnedest to try and not just be a hero, save his family. Like, he did his damnedest, and he lost everybody. He lost everybody. In a moment of breaking out the house and trying to help his kids, he lost his wife as well as his kids. And that moment for him was probably the moment where he thought he was going to save everyone, you know. Yeah, you know, as a guy, some women may not realize this, I don't know, but as a guy, we do have certain instincts, and one of them is protection. When we have children, when we have even a girlfriend, we feel protective in a way that is, if you can't defend them from danger, then you're not a man. That's how you feel. Any danger. It's like you expect to be God in a way. You expect to be able to prevent car crashes and everything. You want to defend people, your family, and your wife. You want to defend from danger. That's a man's job. That's how we see ourselves. We see ourselves as expendable, dependable, and that you're not. And so for him, I know already, because I know how it would be for me, is I would have accepted 1,000 of my own deaths rather than accept one of theirs. And that's what would kill him the most, is that he would give his life 1,000 times, because that was his job, and he couldn't give his own life to save his family, and they're dead, and he's got over that. And there will be people, because that's what people are like, that will be hard on the guy, question him. But from the sounds of it, he did absolutely fucking everything and more. Injured himself, I think. You know, yeah, it's a sad story. It's got no political connotations. There's no upside. There's no nothing. It's just a horrible story. But it just brought me very sober, you know. And I think people do need to realize this, though. It's like, this is the reality of a fire. They're not things you can fight. I mean, the thing with Grenfell was a good example of that, but it's too big a building for most people to get a real grasp of. Like, you only need to lose control of a fire just a little bit. And this is why a lot of the stupid, admittedly at times, but laws around having fires and that in the forest and that are the way they are. It's because half of us don't know how to contend with a fire when it gets out of control. And the difference between a fire being in control and out of control, it's not very much. You know, people like to have these big fires and they think they're in control. It's like, you're in control until you're not. And at that moment, it's very scary if you know what happens next, because, yeah, you've got to get control back very quickly or everything's fucked. Yeah, and it's where's my glasses? It's sobering. It's sobering. So, you know, my heart goes out to this fucking guy. It really does. My heart goes out to this guy because he's lost everything. He tried to be the protector and he's ended up being the survivor. And it's going to kill him. Like, you don't recover from that. You know, and I'm not saying anybody would recover from losing their family, but I just mean from a guy's perspective, you know, he's going to feel like he failed on every level. It's just, shit, you know, it's horrible. It's horrible. And you know, mum and 2 kids. I think the kids were only young kids. So, yeah, it sucks. It sucks. It's a shit story, but it's one that, you know, with all the political dramas and that taking place, taking all the headlines and everything else, these are the things that don't get talked about. But it's you know, this is life, and rather than talking about Anthony Joshua, and don't get it wrong, I hope he's all right. Don't wish him any harm whatsoever. But also talk about some normal people in normal situations in this country. Because yeah, you know, and just because it's Christmas, it doesn't add an extra layer of fucking protection. If anything, it makes it more liable to happen just because you're doing more stuff. You know, just because you're doing more stuff, it's not even about who behaves well or who doesn't. Sometimes it's just because you're doing more stuff, using more electricity and gas and cooking and more people, and so all it takes, you know. Yeah, so pretty fucked up. So, sorry, Steve, I don't know where I put my glasses. Oh, I knew I had them ready. Fires at Christmas are fairly commonplace. Temporary electrical Christmas lights, yeah. Thus overloads, Christmas trees burn well, and of course all that wrapping paper. That's right. And yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's got better because certain appliances now just seem to know when they're overloading. But even so, like you say, with those lights especially, there's just certain things that are just fire magnets, you know. And yeah, it's unavoidable that it's going to happen. Sometimes, you know, things have got better, but let's face it, half of that stuff, you know, yeah, you know where it comes from, Steve. So yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, you think, I mean, the power of those like little incinerator things. I've only got a little one like that, and they can, once they're at, you know, full heating, they can buzz through anything. I mean, you can go through gardens worth of rubbish or wood in a couple of hours. Like, you know this, easy peasy. And like, people have these little furnaces in the garden. They use it for the exact same reason I do. And it never occurs to them, like, what would it be like? How quickly would it get to that temperature in your home? You'd be surprised. You'd be fucking surprised how quick. Yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy speed that things happen. I don't know how long it took because I was a kid and adrenaline, all that stuff. But you know, to me, it felt like 20 minutes, but I'm pretty sure everything I saw and everything that happened probably happened inside less than 3 minutes. Maybe a lot less than 3 minutes. I'm not really sure. But I can tell you that it felt like 20, you know, but yeah, it was probably all of 3 minutes, maybe less. But I was absolutely terrified. So terrified that in the dark, even though it's fucking obvious, I couldn't remember where the 9 was on the phone. So I couldn't press 999 on the phone because I couldn't see anything. The electric had tripped out. And I couldn't remember where the 9 was. So I had to run to my neighbour's house. Fucking dickhead. Yeah, that cost some valuable time. But that's what I mean. You just don't, you know, it's scary. It surprised me. Because it was just, like I say, 1 minute in control, next minute spiraled out of control. And it's just like, yeah, crazy. And back then as well, I think things are a bit different, but the ideas that people have of what will work, yeah, I mean, but like, I've prevented a few fires from happening, probably as a result of that, simply because, I mean, I've always had quick reactions, although now I'm getting to the age I am, I don't know if I've still got them, but just a few times, just seeing stuff out the corner of my eye, but probably more because I know what can happen. So seeing like fat go up and about to explode away, and my arm's already out there catching it and running outside with it, and I'd be right as well. The fucking thing would go up in flames. So like I see it, I've seen it, and by the way, that's not me. That's not my cooking. That's when I've seen somebody else do it, and I've grabbed it and run outside with it because I've realised it, and they've gone, "What you do? Oh shit!" You know. So yeah, you know, I've got it right every time, but it comes like naturally to me, I think, because of what I've seen. But yeah, that's horrible because that happened at 3 a.m. So it's not even like they had a chance to fight it. They just woke up. You know, they woke up and fuck knows, yeah. You know, and I don't want to go into any more detail on that because it's everybody's New Year's Day, and it's just, you know, what good would there be to go any further than that with it, you know? But it's just, you know, poor guy, poor family. Yeah, and not everything has to be political to be reported or to be cared about, you know. It's just shit. It's just a shit thing to happen. And, you know, it's not. You can't even say, can you? Oh, I hope he gets better. He's never going to get better. So it's just like, hope he learns to live. Hope he learns to live again, you know. But wow. I didn't see the fireworks this year. The reason being is because every time I've watched them of recent times, I should say, they've had like the black power fists and everything else, so I've avoided it. So what did they have anything politically themed this year for the fireworks? Because I just fucking avoided them because the black power fists got me. I just thought I'm never watching this again. So since then I haven't watched. I don't know how many years ago was that. So was there anything worth noting this year, guys? Hey Vin, how you doing, buddy? It's good to see you. So do you know what? I didn't know I was going to go on live. I was just disturbed by this story, man. If I'd known, I would have gone in the studio and brought you in. I miss doing a live view. It's been a little while now, but we'll have to do one soon. Oh shit! I've just lost everything. Oh, by the way, look, ready? Yeah, I'm cool. Yeah. So it is. So you know, Steve, it is just it gets to that temperature. Like you say, just the air traveling around the house. Imagine that, the air traveling around the house with doors closed. Was enough to melt all the Christmas decorations and everything. Just the airflow from semi-sealed doors. You know, so like. I guess that's the other reason for bringing this up. Like, there will be people that question this guy's fucking manhood, and that's why I wanted to say, you know, having been that close to a fire, having been nearly a victim to it, I can tell you, you ain't jumping through fires if it's built up inside a house. There's a fucking heat barrier around it. There's a heat shield around it. You are not diving through that. You're gonna burn your face off before you've even got close. It's just not happening for you. Once it's built up, that heat, it's an incredible heat. It's not like having a bonfire in a garden where it's got a certain radius. The heat is unbelievable, and it's not radiating out. It's tunneling out at you, and it's hitting you with a force and power that you realize, oh, this is a real fire. This is what a fire is like when it's not under control. It is raw power, and you're not running through it. Don't get me wrong, if you're out in the open or something and a fire hasn't fully got started and it's tall flames or whatever, maybe you could run through that. But I'm talking about in a house fire situation and it's built up momentum, like getting back in. If an entrance gets sealed like that, what happened to that guy? Sounds like, oh, just jump through the flames. Probably wasn't the flames that was stopping him. It was just the fucking barrier of heat. You know, it just you know that you're going to die before you even get close to where you want to go. It's not even a fear thing. It's a barrier. it's hard to explain unless you've experienced it, but it's a barrier, you know, and you just know, like, it'd be like trying to run through a fucking, run through a lawnmower. You know it's just pointless, yeah. A lawnmower pointing at your guts, you know, you just not. But worse than that, because it's a physical barrier hitting you that is just, it's like another atmosphere you can't penetrate, because it's just it's wild. It's wild, and they are wild, and they consume ground and consume space and create heat at a rate like I said. I think it was about 3 minutes it took for this one in my place, but I know I've repeated this, haven't I? I'm going to shut up now, but you know, just so it's understood, that guy tried everything. He tried smashing through a fucking wall. He tried breaking back in his house. He tried getting through the flames. He tried doing all the movie shit and more. And he couldn't save his family. So, and I hope people appreciate the fact that could have been any one of us, and we would have had the same result. If the fire gets to a certain stage, you're fucked. That's it. Yeah, horrible story. No political motivations whatsoever. But you know, while the world focuses on people like Anthony Joshua, and you know, I wish him all the best, people like these sort of get forgotten by the wayside. And again, that guy, who, if he's anything like the rest of us, will feel like his first duty, well before the fire, was to keep his wife and his children safe. His first duty, his primary responsibility as a man. He will feel, yeah. So my heart really goes out to him, and what else can you say? My heart really goes out to the guy. Yeah, I know he would have died 1,000 deaths rather than this. So it's hard to know, you know, it's hard to say anything upbeat, but it's just, yeah, my heart really goes out to him. And I think, again, to anybody that thinks, oh, I would have done different, he tried. No, you wouldn't, because it's not about it's not about tolerance. Sorry, it's not about tolerance. It's not about willpower. With some things, it's just about fucking physics, you know? Yeah, as simple as that. But anyway, so that's what made me come on live. It was just a bit of a story not that I could relate to, because I actually haven't thought about that fire in years. Just there was a few open-ended things on some stories that, I don't know. Everyone admitted he tried everything he could and more, and a couple of places made sure people knew that. But you know, there's a couple of others that I just felt like they were like questioning him, not so much foul play or anything, just questioning him. And I just thought, don't. He's got to live with that already, and he gave it everything, you know. Fuck off, leave him the fuck alone, you know. So yeah, anyway, that's right, the smoke is, yeah, that's the other thing. I mean, that's the other terrifying thing. The carbon monoxide in a lot of cases is what gets a lot of people, and I mean, you could potentially wake up and not be able to move. Yeah, that another horrifying, you know, and that's what I mean. I don't want to go into the what might have happened in there, but those are the sorts of things that are most likely, considering. Yeah, again, I don't want to go too far into it because it would be too gruesome. I think too gruesome when you haven't got a silver lining. But yeah, all that smoke and everything would have been. Sounds like it was trapped. So yeah, it doesn't take long for that. And that's the other thing I didn't mention, actually. That's a good shout. Is that how quick that smoke is like a carpet above you, quickly. very quickly. And in a way, thank God for the heat, for the very fact that it is risen right to the very top of the building, or at least in my experience. If it wasn't for that, I think you'd be dead a lot quicker. But in my experience, it rose to the top of the building. But of course, as it starts to fill up, that's going to come down anyway. So you've got so little time, so little time. There's like 1,000 ways it's going to get you. And I don't need to say to anybody, I mean, these guys didn't have a chance, but I'd say to anybody, truly, as much as you don't want to lose your shit, as much as you don't want to lose your stuff, as much as it might be memorable or meaningful or even worth money, I guarantee you don't want to end up on the wrong side of a fight with a fire, because it's terrifying when you realize you're losing, and only at that moment, because you've got one chance to learn, right? And you either learn or you die. Only at that moment of realizing that the fire is winning do you realize just how outmatched you actually are, and always were, right from the very beginning. When you realize it's raw power, it's like, I don't know. It's really hard to explain. It's like being humbled for the first time. It's like walking around thinking you're indestructible and feeling pain for the first time. You know, it's just like, yeah. So you learn to have a bit of a grudging respect for it, because you realize that, yeah. Anyway, I'm going into waffly territory. Hey, Helen, great to see you. Hope you're okay. You didn't watch it. Let me go back a little bit, see if you guys did. See if you did, Vin. It was Sadiq Khan's way of sticking a finger up to the country again. What, last night's one? What did he do? That's funny as fuck. Sorry, Stevie, you're funny. The fire will literally melt your face off. It isn't a metaphor. Yeah. Thanks, Steve. Exactly. Literally will melt your face off. I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to embellish or trying to be fantastical about it. Literally melt your face off. And really valid point about the smoke as well. It would disable you or kill you, because it's pretty quick, the smoke, once it's got you. What did it do? If Vin, if you're still there, what did they do? Jesus. Sometimes cruel. Yeah, and the thing of it is, I mean, people don't realise it, but it's like, okay, in this room I'm in now, people got their thermometers on the wall when they go and do their heating, and they think, oh, it's 23 degrees. My whole house is about 23 degrees then. It's like, no, it's not. No, it's not. I know that 1 meter away from me, in a little pocket down here, where nothing special is going on, just another part of my room, I know it's going to be about 17 degrees. I know 1 meter up from that, I know it's going to be about 21 degrees. I know 1 meter up from that, it's going to be about 22, and 1 meter up from that, it's still going to be 22. I know all the pockets of air because I'm a weirdo like that. Because once I started noticing things like this, I just have to go measuring everything. And yeah, it's amazing how you can get these pockets and spheres of air that you would assume would consume each other, and they actually don't. They actually create these barriers to almost to each other, and yeah, It's kind of strange. It's like atmosphere, almost like atmospheres. Do you ever wonder, like Helen and, well, everybody really, speaking of fires, I know there's been record temperatures in places, although, again, I've shown in Britain how last year we'll go down in the record books that we had 4 heat waves. We had 1. And, I mean, scientifically, we had 1. And I've proved it. I can prove it again. It's in the books. It's provable. Even their own temperatures confirm it. So that we didn't have it. But it's, and the reason that they needed to get to 4 is because they needed to compare it to 2018, 2022. That was why it was so important for them to get that. And what we had was a marine heat wave at the early part of the year, which meant we had a nice warm part of the year. And then we had just some decent weather at the second half of the year. We actually had just very few spots where it's hot as opposed to warm. And I mention this because... Why am I mentioning this? Because... Mention this because... Oh! I don't know why I got round to all that. Fuck knows why I went on that one, but it joined on to the forest fires that in my country, even, it's very rarely it really does get that dry. I mean, some of the summers that we've had, yeah, but it's, Australia I get, different, but do you ever think that, do you ever wonder if these fires seem to be getting worse and worse and worse, and we're told it's the climate change. Now, my understanding is that I think the hottest temperature recorded on Earth is about 60 degrees or 55 degrees. It's hot, but it's not hot enough to cause a fire. Natural fires were caused by lightning and occasionally the sun being prismed through gems or natural glass and things like that. But I don't think there's ever been a case of the sun shining on a leaf, a dry leaf, and at 60 degrees it exploding into flames. Because it takes more than the boiling point of water to turn something into flames. Well, it takes more than 100 degrees. So, how are these fires getting started? And I can't help but think the only people with a real motive to keep starting these fires are the very people that are campaigning about the global shit. Trying to prove a point before it happens. Because I don't understand how fires... I mean, I can understand hot conditions, tinder-like conditions. Yeah, I get that. That means throwing a fag out your car window is extremely more important not to do. I get that. I'm not stupid. I get all of that side of it. But in terms of how a lot of these things get started, I do wonder sometimes. I'm very suspicious over that shit. Very, very suspicious. Yeah. I don't know what you guys are like about it, but I'm always very suspicious when I see these forest fires starting up. Yeah, see, Helen, you just said the same thing, and that's what I truly believe that. I truly believe that that it's arsonists. 225 degrees C is the ignition point of paper, as the novel Fahrenheit 451. So, is there like a particular, if I had a lump of carbon, is there a particular point of that? Because I imagine that would be the measurable component, right? But yeah, I'm very suspicious about it, especially the way they've escalated, and not necessarily in tandem with the weather. I mean, they might do them in tandem with heat waves, but not necessarily, you know. For what it's worth, I do think climate's changing, but that's not the same as their doom theory. The climate's always been changing. And I won't get into the argument now because I've done videos before, and I'll do videos again making the argument exactly why I believe that they are at least, at most, completely fucking wrong, and at least without a clue as to what's true. Because the climate's always changed, always been changing, and they make claims about the climate, past, present, and future, that are all untrue and all easily disproven. So it doesn't hold much for the fact that these are the same people that we're putting our trust and faith in to tell us what's best for the future. It's all a scam. You know, some of the intelligence I got was that part of the scam originally, because when I was at school, we were told that the oil reserves and fuel reserves, fossil fuels, would run out by, I think it was like 2015, 2020. And someone said that was a scam so that America could buy up a lot of the world's oil, which they did. And I don't know if that's true, but it certainly sounds plausible. Plausible doesn't make it true. But I'm sure I read it. I'm sure I read it in, I don't know if it's Peter Hitchens' book or something, like one of his books. Pretty certain it was one of his books, but I don't know which one, because I've read about 4 of them now. But he explained it in a lot more eloquent way than I can, because I'm trying to remember from a book that I can't even remember the name of, because it was about 3 years ago since I read it. Might be The Abolition of Britain. Oh, fuck, I don't know. In Quebec, satellite photography showed fires being set on all along certain rural roads. It was 1975 in my day. Oh fuck! What were we talking about to make you say that? I've lost my fucking train of thought now. I'm fucking terrible, aren't I? Sometimes I'm terrible. Yeah, so I've made people go for it twice, Helen, so I'm not going to go for that story again. All running out. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, well, right, 1975. Jesus. So they've been running this scam a long time then. Unreal. Yeah, no, with me it was the things they were going on about was, I think it was like something like 2010, 2015 for the fossil fuels. And also we were told, you know, it was the ozone layer thing. And we were told that was going to be wiped out sort of similar time. Yeah, and it was particularly those kinds of things that were being pushed on us as kids. And also as well, this woke culture that we have today, I'm sure it started when I was at school, because I mean the institutions of Britain were already being way under attack back then already. I didn't know that at the time, but they were. Look at the stuff I was taught now, and I realised that, and the way I was being taught. But also, there was a thing amongst certain students, let's just say that, at the time, even young, where they'd go, "That offends me." And me and some of my friends used to be like looking at each other like, "What's the punchline here? What's the end game? Where's the bit where we're supposed to give a fuck?" Really believing there was going to be, not not trying to be funny, truly believing for someone to come out with something like that, there's an end game here, and they're going to say some comment now that's going to blow us away. And then when that never came, it was like, okay, so because they're offended, they want to be right, or they want you to be silent. And that was when I was fucking 12 years old. So, and the guys, because my friends were guys, right? So, or most of them, most of us were struggling with it, with where, even at that age, like, because we'd never grown up around any of that. You know, I'm offended. It was like, and said in a way, like the earth should stop spinning. You know, entitlement. I wouldn't have known the word at the time. The entitlement, and this is what was being. Whether anybody wants to fucking admit it, this is what was being taught even in my time as kids. And I'll tell you for nothing, my parents didn't have a fucking clue what they were teaching me at school. Yeah, my dad would have taken umbrage with a lot of it if he realised. Put it that way. And he wouldn't have been wrong to. Yeah, my girlfriend hairspray was killing the planet. CFCs, that's right. That's right. We had the mass banning of, or the mass buying of fridges. Therefore, to combat the CFC problem, we threw a load of fridges away and allowed them to let the CFC escape into the atmosphere. Another win for humanity. Wouldn't it make more sense to ban any more new ones and to use the ones you've got, like, sensibly for as long as safely possible? I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but same as when the flat screen TV came along, they like pretty much forced everyone to throw perfectly good tech away, perfectly working good tech. Instead it was because it became obsolete. No, you made it obsolete. You made CRT screens obsolete. Same as they made video recorders obsolete. But they hang on to the disc until this year, I think 2026. I think they're going to discontinue. This was the plan. I don't know if they're actually going to do it, but the plan at the moment is that they're going to discontinue Blu-rays for films. I don't know if that extends to games. I imagine it will, because what some people are unaware of is putting games, especially games, on disc is one of the most ridiculous things for the last 15 years that you could do. And the reason for it is the same reason it always is. It's money. We've known for a long time, for instance, that you make a chip and you transfer data between a chip to a chip. It's going to be a lot faster, even if you have to plug it into the main board, right? So we've known that for a long time. What kind of drove us away from doing that was that it wasn't very cost effective. So in the old days, every cartridge they used to sell for a console used to cost £8 to make, which was a lot of money, you know, considering they weren't making that much back on the game industry back then. A CD back then cost 50p to make. That then moved on to Blu-rays. So as a result, they've hung on to the disc method of storing games to put on your computer and that, up until the recent digital takeover. They've held on to that method, not because it was anywhere near the best method. That SSD drives and other things that have been invented not that recently have proven how obsolete these things have been for years, but they've kept using them anyway. They talk about standards and things like that people expect, but the truth of it was, from 50p to about 5p per disc to produce is the exact reason why they carried on doing it. They could always have made it better, but they waited until they could do it digitally to the point where they don't have to provide anything physical now, which holds its own problems, by the way. Because if you're buying digital goods, you'll find that often that you don't own them, and it's subject to a million things, including that company being in business. So buying films now, you want to buy a film collection, well, you just better hope that company stays in business, or if they ever sell to a bigger company, that they honour the things that you've bought. And this is why I'm saying I wonder, will they truly end? I mean, as a profitable business, in its old form, yeah, they've got to end it in terms of films. But in terms of, like, vinyl stayed alive, will it stay alive to that capacity? Don't know. Maybe for that reason. But thank God for hackers, because otherwise they would have us hooked up to the internet, jumping through hoops for every game. I mean, the DRM they put on games. Even people who buy games, they go and buy games, and then they steal the games off the internet and put the copy that they bought on the side, because it's easier to play the game using a hacked copy than it is to use the one that you bought, because you've got to jump through 1,000 hoops just to play the game, and then keep jumping through those hoops to keep playing the game. People just don't want to go through it, and all in the name of copy protection. Yeah, and it's happened to me. I remember being locked out of my own game via its own copy protection, just being from a worn-out disc, you know. And the companies were particularly unhelpful with you as well. Like, you think these policies would be okay if the companies were actually like, we'll send you another disc. No, you go buy another copy of the game. Fuck you. That's their attitude. So anyway, it's a bit of a stream without end. So in terms of the fact that I'm not, you know, I just wanted to cover that fire, that just, you know. Yeah, this brings back memories of the way you have framed that, Steve, about the third world with the oil reserves. I actually remember that argument post being made. Yeah, they do. Exactly. Yeah, put them in the landfill. Exactly, Steve, with the CRT screens. Yeah, go smash them in the landfill. And the other thing as well, I mean, the amount of electricity those things were capable of storing. You used to have a thing called, can't even remember what it was called now, but to test to make sure there was no electricity left in televisions. I remember one day I went through a whole warehouse full of televisions, and it was one of the last 5 that I tested had 15,000 volts stored in it. Imagine if you got cocky or just decided that there was no need to keep testing. But that was the whole reason why I was testing them, to make them safe to work on. But yeah, crazy. Anyway, probably bore people to death with my CRT stories. I have no idea why you would use a hard drive except for the fact that hard drives are surprisingly durable, but still made with the kind of alloys that would show you the impact. So it might be that. It might be literally that he's tried other targets, and you can't find the right impact. And the hard drive's got weight to it. It's got the type of metal on the front of it that will show an impact zone, quite a good impact zone. At the same time, without snapping or splintering. Maybe that's why. Don't know. Not a clue. I'm totally guessing. I'm totally guessing. That's right. Yeah, yeah. Just discharge it, and amazing. All those TVs with no charging, and then just one with 15,000 volts. Me neither. But you put 4 or 5 in a row to see how far the slug would go. Oh, they went. Okay, okay. It's probably because their durability, because they are the old type of hard drives, not like the SSDs. They're very, very flimsy, but the old type of hard drives, especially the original ones. I mean, later on in their life, they got lighter and lighter and lighter. But the old ones, like this one, which was probably made 2013, that sort of time, this is heavy. This is really heavy and bulky. So it's right. The heads are disengaged, but it's heavy and bulky. So, but it's got the right type of metal for impact, so that will bend. But I can stand on that. I can stand on that, and it's not going to damage the hard drive. But if I stand right in the wrong place, and it might, you know. But if I did it right, it wouldn't damage it. It's more the. Well, let me put it another way. If you did damage it, it'd be more the really fine. So like the head, it works like a cassette tape. Yeah, it works like a cassette tape. You've got a little head above the discs, and it's like 1/10 of a hair's width above the disc. So if you drop it while it's moving, for instance, then it will scrape a chunk out of the disc, and you may have some serious problems. But in terms of the actual structural integrity of the thing, you could stamp up and down on that, and it's probably not going to bend. It's so hard. So maybe that's why. Maybe that's why. And most people who've handled them know it. So that's the only guess I can take. So yeah, Tom's best guess. Hey Dave, good to see you, buddy. Happy New Year, mate. Well, let's put it this way. It might add a little bit too much to your body weight, because they are heavy fucking things. So you might be lugging more weight than you would want to carry. Good to see you, Dave. Hope your New Year was good, mate. Hope you are good. Hope you've been behaving yourself, been a good boy. You know, we on this channel expect good things from you, and we expect you to save a kitten per day. Steve was just saying before you came on, if he hasn't saved a kitten today, then I'm not speaking to him again. I seconded that, and then we did a poll. Everybody know they all seconded it as well. And then I woke up out of my stupid fantasy land. A ceramic plate are heavy and difficult, but legally, difficult to buy legally. All quiet, which is good. Yeah. Do you know what? It's funny. I said something earlier on. It's not been an exciting Christmas, but it's been relaxed. I'll take that every day of the week. It's been relaxed, without drama. So far, fingers crossed, without drama, and yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, without drama, without suffering. Pretty good. I know that for me and many other people, January tends to be a very long, depressing month, but it happens sort of after New Year. People go through that, realizing the money they spent at Christmas and stuff. But I always look at it as that already we've gone from 7 hours and 40 minutes of sunshine to 8 hours. I think we've just broken the 8-hour limit. So we're already flying back towards a better time of year. We're not in full slingshot, but we're kind of like, we're just on the way back. We're just starting to release some of that energy now. So yeah, you know, the way I look at it from here is you get through January, and then February's a short month. At the end of February, for us here in this part of the globe, 12-12. Even though it's March, really, around February, you're really getting close to 12 hours light a day, where you're actually getting up at sort of 7 in the morning and it's light again, you know, ish, you know, and yeah, where you can notice light at both sides of the day again. So right at the end of the February, you know, so I always think, so you've got to get to March. March could be a bastard, it can turn to winter, but so can April at 6 o'clock in the morning, but you're still getting somewhere. So for me, it's always been about getting to March, but really getting to the end of February, because February's our worst month, but it's also our shortest. So and weather-wise, with all the stuff that's going on, talk about climate change and everything else, one thing I will say about our weather is it's always been spot on to the date. This last 12 months, winter's arrived on the day of winter. Summer's arrived on the day of summer, you know, well, actually, didn't, it arrived early. Autumn arrived literally as it was, you know, you couldn't have done a theatre entrance more accurate. It was crazy when autumn came this year, like perfect timing. So the dates really meant something this year in terms of weather. They got it. That's the one thing that's perfect is the dates we have. First truly wintry week here has happened during the month that's declared winter. So yeah. The ceramic plates are designed to allow the convenient retrieval of body after the fact. Huh. Sorry. Don't want an exciting holiday, although the religion of peace has burnt down a few churches in France. But Steve, no kitten saving here. Just one bitch cat and her 2 adult offspring and a staffy. Well, it's good to see you in good spirits, guys. I'm not going to linger because I really did come on to cover that, and I also wanted to pick your brains about the fireworks. I really wanted to know if they tried it on again, because the thing of it is, something I just saw out the corner of my eye a little while ago was Sadiq Khan was praising the fire, and I thought, well, if he's praising them, they've probably done another political publicity stunt using our capital to do it. So, but I can't. I used to actually really enjoy waiting for fireworks in London. Now, well, like I say, since the Power Fist, the Black Fist, I have never watched another one. That was it. Same as the sport and that they ruined when they put it in football. That's it. They don't give second chances for shit like that. So, you know, you could call it cut my own nose to spite my own face. I suppose it is in some ways, but I just can't tolerate it. I can't. And you turn a fireworks display into a fucking political symbol, and not only that, but a twisted political symbol at that, and one that's been proven to be corrupt, by the way, even by black people, or especially by black people, and nobody has apologized for. Nobody, yeah, because the message is more important than the fucked up, sick people who didn't give a shit about the message who came up with it. Yes, I complained about the weight while in pod, and the weapons officer said it would stop a bullet. My thought was, I'm not convinced. I don't know with bullets. I don't know enough about because of the speed they travel and that. Like, I don't know enough about the metal they're made with these days to know what, you know, what kind of surface would make them ricochet, what it would take to make them squash into themselves and what their piercing capabilities are. So yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. I'm not got like firearms experience, so I wouldn't know. With me, it's all physics stuff, you know. So I only ever look at things from a physics point of view because I just don't know. I'd be talking out my depth if I talked about firing guns and that, you know. Not that I don't want to. I would happily learn. In my family, we've got from my dad to my uncle, with snipers all the way through the family. So, and I'm a pretty good shot. I'm not going to say I'm as good as they were. I think I missed the gene a bit, but I'm still a good shot. But not like them. I mean, my uncle was a proper fucking good sniper. But yeah, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is because we're not particularly normally very well coordinated. For some reason, that shot, yeah, it's weird. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. But yeah, so I would like to learn. Yeah, getting technical. On different speeds, mass, and composition, modern bullets are designed to tumble as they cut through you. As they cut through you, random pass through a body, max damage. So I'm thinking like if they're doing max damage, then they would be designed to either splat, because then that splat of metal's got to go through you. It's going to be much bigger. It's going to do much more tearing. I'm figuring you're not going to want a nice, neat bullet to go straight through and go through the other side, because you might actually leave the person still standing, right? Yeah? Or I don't know. I don't know if there's rules around these things, but I'm thinking that too powerful, too clean a shot could actually do less damage than more if it hit. I don't know. So I'm thinking if you use the soft metal, it wouldn't be very good against. I'm totally talking out my field here. I'm thinking the soft metal wouldn't be very good against like bulletproofing and stuff like that. But it'd fuck you up if it hit you without any protection. I'm thinking. Fieldcraft. That's what the MK-303 did. High velocity shells will cause more damage by shock as they pass through. A near miss is also a bad day for you. What I've always found fascinating is the wind and the gravity. Now gravity, okay, but the wind direction and that, although it's obvious from one point of view, yeah, you play golf or anything else, you'd have to adjust for the wind, right? It's obvious in one way, but in another way, you would think something moving that quickly and getting between point A and point B that quick, you wouldn't think it would have to think about wind, would you? In some ways, and yet it does. And you see some of these shots they take, and they're adjusting for wind and gravity, and it's like it's incredible. It's incredible. If I have got any of that in my DNA, I want to find out before it's too late. But yeah, I just think it's incredible. I just think it's a great talent. Yeah, I love it. I just love those kinds of shots. So So what was the thing where they? Is it bullshit about them doing the thing in the old days where they stuck coins in the barrel of a shotgun or whatever to maximize the damage? A World War One bullet, so 3-line caliber, could remove an eye if it passed within 30 millimeters of your 50 millimeters of your eye. Holy shit! So all right, how does this work? How does that work? Is that, bear in mind I don't know the size of the bullet, is that the amount of air it's pulling along with it? Is it because it's sending a shockwave out because it's that speed of sound, speed, you know what I mean, sound barrier thing? Is it the air it's pulling with it? Is it whipping? You know, how does that mechanism work? No, any random shit metal can do damage. But it's always follow a ballistic trajectory. Windage is no surprise when you think of the weight of the bullet and the pressure sideways over the distance. Yeah, but it's always, in my head, it's always the speed. You'd think it would get there before it needed to worry about wind. I know that's stupid, but in my head, the vacuum and shockwave, right? So in a way, it's kind of constantly tearing through sound rather than breaking sound. It's kind of tearing through it. And the shockwave makes sense in itself. So, Jesus Christ, and we've got a spacecraft up there at the moment that's moving at about 100 and something times the speed of a bullet. That's crazy. It would outpace a bullet by that much. Wow, this is kind of pressure wave, Tom. Yeah, you know, I mean, that's incredible when you think about, okay, so lightning, right? I wanted to experience what, you're going to laugh at me, but I wanted to, safely, okay, before you start your shit, I wanted to experience a shockwave from lightning. Now, back when I came up with this stupid idea, it was more difficult because the only thing I had was rockets or something like a balloon. So it wasn't that easy, but obviously then you had drones and stuff come along, made it a little bit easier. Anyway, I wanted to experience the shockwave area without getting electrocuted, and found out that it was almost impossible because so the sound you hear from the lightning, or sound you hear, I should say, going from the lightning, is the air exploding. It's being superheated and then it explodes. And it sends a shockwave out, right? So that's what you hear. That's probably obvious. That shockwave is only about 6 meters wide. So for me to experience that shockwave, I need to be within 6 meters of the impact of the lightning strike. Obviously something I'm not going to do because I would become the split target for the lightning strike and I'd be dead in seconds. So you see what I'm saying? From a lightning strike that might be over 1 million volts, it's only got a shockwave area of about 6 meters. Don't quote me on that, but it's about that. And then you've got a bullet that can travel all that distance and create a shockwave that cause that much disruption to the air that it could take someone's fucking eye out at 50 millimeters, so 5 centimeters. It's crazy. That should be, in my mind, that should be quite a decent miss. That's crazy. The classic is if Trump's head was only a millimeter further around, it could have pulled his eye out. So, because I'm assuming a bullet made in World War One and a bullet now would be very different, because I'm assuming a bullet now, even though you can never make a perfectly, even though you can't make a smooth surface, because not with metal, because it's like the reason why we use the thermal paste when we put a CPU on a computer, because you can't make a perfect contact with two metals, but nevertheless you can see the difference between quality of metalwork. So I wonder, the bullets of today, are they made more aerodynamic so they don't have certain effects, or does it not work like that? Is it just like, yeah, they haven't improved that much, Tom? They're different, but only because one's kinetic. But there's still, but you're still, the energy is converted to something that's still exploding the atmosphere. I mean, that's no joke. And the amount of energy, well, 1 million volts, over 1 million, but they don't really know. It's over 1 million volts, but it registers something different every time. It's a lot of power. It's got to go somewhere. Energy doesn't disappear. It transforms. All energy. You'd probably be dead by the dissipation of electricity on the ground. Yeah, exactly. Why we were told not to bother trying to save anyone near electric pylon cable break. Yeah. No, that's right. I mean, the ground thing was all planned out of how to do it. But all of it depended on being about 30 meters away. 30 meters was the closest I, in my mind, scientifically, could do it, and be as safe as possible under the conditions. Also using a decoy, I forget what you call it, conductor, just to get an extra, it doesn't matter. There was a whole setup anyway. But the setup needed to be about 30 meters away. I even thought about putting it 15 at one point, but I realized, no, you'd be fried. There's no way out of this. I mean, there's these, I forget what they're called, but there's these things, it makes glass through the ground. It can travel through the ground. There was a famous shot of a cameraman getting struck through the ground. Quite a famous shot of it. Yeah, there's a lightning strike, lands quite a way away, and it travels all the way to the ground to him. So it can travel a long way, but it might just travel under your feet and you never even knew it. But yeah, but 30 meters was with protection, crazy protection, and was the only way of doing it. And that would have been a feat in itself, getting that amount of protection set up quickly, and then and also not having any lightning come my way. Then there was, you can't just take a chance on that. There was things being done to make that happen. And then suddenly realizing you've got to be within 6 meters. That's just like, even if it had been 15, deal breaker. So it might have been more than 6 meters, but it wasn't much. It wasn't much. It was a deal breaker. Whatever it was a deal breaker. And I was gutted because I just wanted to know what this particular. It's a sonic boom. That's the words I was looking for. It's a sonic boom that is created. That's what I was looking to experience. Couldn't think of the words earlier on, but that's exactly what is caused by a lightning strike, and that's why the two energies differ, Dave. But I just couldn't get the fucking words out. Oh, I've seen it in the Faraday cage, but to me, that's fake. I mean, it's not fake, it's real, but it's, do you know what I mean? It's still man controlled. As much as I'm trying to man control something, I'm not really. I'm trying to experience it. So I thought about it, don't get me wrong. I thought it does look kind of cool, but nah. It's not. It's got to be the experience of it, you know. So I'll be happy catching a tornado, especially in this country. Or, you know, and I have got pretty close to some storms and some lightning strikes, probably close enough, if I'm honest. And I've taken a couple of chances, which was, when I'm looking back, were stupid. Like standing on the top of the highest thing in about a mile area, filming a thunderstorm, until I finally realised, oh shit, there's about a strike per second going on, and I'm on the tallest thing in the area, and I didn't even notice. And only noticed when a gust front hit me. It was like the wind turned to 60 miles an hour for exactly 2 minutes ish, and stopped. It was like, oh shit, I know what that is. I went running under the bridge. That's when I realised what I'd done was really stupid. Because but you think it's Britain, it don't matter, but it matters. It mattered. So thank God for the gust front, because I knew what it was. And if I hadn't have done my reading, and I didn't know what that gust front was, and I hadn't experienced it before, I would have still been up on the bridge when the lightning struck, because I wouldn't have known any different. So, that knowledge did come in handy. It's like they always say, oh, avoid trees in a lightning in a thunderstorm. It's like, no, no, avoid a single tree in a thunderstorm. But if it's a bunch of trees, or you stood out in a field, the trees are taller than you. Go to the fucking trees. You got more of a fucking chance. And the only other thing is, and this is when you know you're in dead trouble, is if you feel your hair standing up on end. Hit the deck, rolling the ball, and you may think, what's the fucking point at that point? There is a point. There is a point. When every time you always think of lightning coming down, and it what does, but it's what doesn't. It really works. If I've got it in slow motion, I've recorded it in slow motion before. I'll show you again. It works the opposite way around than it looks. It's a trick of the eye. So it's really sort of ignites upwards. Oh, where was I going with that? I can't remember. Sorry. I'm trying to jump too far ahead. That's what's doing it today. I realised it's not. I'm going blank. I've still got a load of stuff in my head, but I've jumped too far ahead. I need to say what's on my head when it's in, Yeah. So that tingle means that you're one of the potential locations. That's what it means. So what you wouldn't maybe realize is there's probably about anywhere between 2 to 18 places that are all going through the same thing that you're going through. And the only thing left is the spark, which is the lightning. And the potential will be the one where the overwhelming urge to make that contact meets the path of least resistance. And that's why hitting the deck, rolling up into a ball, may just make you not that. May just change you from being a target to a near miss. It's at that point, but it's your only hope. It's your only hope. Hit the deck like quick. And you'll find out very quickly whether that helped or not, because it will be a second, if that, before you'd find out. I'll tell you a crazy thing. One day I used to, if you want to track thunderstorms the old-fashioned way, I say track, be aware of them. For a long distance, I mean. Long wave radio is brilliant, because long wave radio doesn't rely on quality. It relies on its distance. So it can go around the world. It bounces around the world, you know. So as a result, it can pick lightning up a long way away. And it's very easy to pick up because it just goes. That's exactly how it sounds. And when there's a big storm going off, you know, because it's all you hear on it. Yeah. So I used to when where I live near the sea, I drove to this place that looks out at the Isle of Wight, and I knew there was a storm coming. I knew it was going to hit about 10 o'clock that morning. I was sat with my wife at the time, and she was like, "It's a beautiful sunny summer's morning." And I went, I know," feeling a bit embarrassed, but I was like, I know, but it's a high-level storm from France. We know which direction it's coming from. It will be here. It will be here. Yeah, it will be here. And it got to, like, you know, the time it was supposed to be there, and I'm like, yeah, nothing's ever, you know, it's weather. It doesn't arrive just because you bought, you know, bought a ticket or whatever. You know, just like give it some time. Really inside, I'm going, I have no idea, but I was pretty good at tracking these things. Anyway, radio goes on, and I'm hearing it, and I'm like, it's there. And then suddenly it looked like it was getting, like, evening was coming, but it was 11 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, look at that, evening's coming. And it was amazing storm, but it was a high level storm from France, so I expected no less. That's why I was there. And the idea was to also then turn with it and travel with it. So instead of having a storm that lasts however long the storm lasts, no, that storm is going to keep regenerating. So as far as you're prepared to follow it, will be as long as the storm lasts. So we followed it for a while, but as it was going over us, the radio is still on. And I remember it was, I heard this noise. It would go, and then bang, I think of lightning. And I looked at my wife, I was like, what the fuck was that? The radio was picking up what I assumed at the time, like the cloud charging up. It literally did. And then the second time, like that, and then bang, another fucking, real close lightning. It made me think that maybe we were one of the. It was very close, that the second strike. You could hear it building up on the fucking radio, and then the next bit of lightning, nothing on the radio again, just normal, the normal noise. But for 2 strikes, you actually heard this sound. Honestly, what I've just done probably isn't sound perfect, but it's probably timing perfect, exactly to how it wound up. It wound up just like that, and it was so weird. It was like, I put it back at the time, I said that's how I imagine the sound of hearing a capacitor charge up would be. Discharge, you know? And is that was that what I effectively heard? Did I hear the nature's capacitor charging up and discharging? I don't know, but it was an amazing thing I've never been able to recapture, which tells me I was very, very close to it. Yeah. Right, I'm gonna read your comments. I'm gonna get the hell out of here because it's been an hour and a half, and I haven't got a dog today, and I had some jobs to do. I've done most of them, which is why I came on, but I only meant to come on and cover a half-hour story, and I've done it again. Done it again, Dave. Done it again, Dave. Oh, do you know what? I had it booked. I had going to USA as a storm chaser booked. I'd successfully chased all the storms in Britain that I could chase. You think you're joking? I successfully chased all the storms in Britain I could chase until I realised that Britain wasn't big enough for a storm chaser, and wasn't powerful enough, you know. So I'd got it booked. I'd got it all booked to go to storm chaser. A couple of things put me off, but I got it booked, and you know, that same old thing that comes along in our lives that often puts us off target, a woman, kind of made me replan my destination. But yeah, never mind. But I was for considering I was amateur, I was pretty good at storm chaser, pretty good. And it came to a point where it was almost hilarious that I would forecast every storm locally. Local forecasters have a much better chance, so it is a bit easier. But a lot of people around here knew that I would always sort of get it right, but it wasn't really a case of getting it right. It was a case of getting it local, and that made it easier. But yeah, I think it was when I started forecasting tornadoes, and back then people didn't do that. And I'd get them right, and people go, fuck me, this is a freak event, how do you know this is going to happen? I'm like, it's not as freak as you fucking think. That was the start of it, you know. So yeah, but always tell you I'm still amateur. A lot of it was like beginner's luck or just enthusiasm, stuff like that, you know. I found a ceiling with weather I couldn't get beyond. It's just yeah, when it all turns to mathematics, time flies, you invite higher powers. Yeah, well, that's why the idea of crawling up into a ball, because the idea is that, I mean, you're fucked anyway, but the idea is that you're trying to make your body the smallest space it can be, because the moment that you create enough space for it to create a differential across your heart, you're fucked anyway. So, you know yourselves, one footstep can be death because of the differential between the two places. So the idea of curling up into a ball was not a perfect one, but the idea was, as they're fucked anyway, dive down, get into a ball as quickly as possible, because you're taking up the least amount of space possible and have the maximum chance at that point to maybe avoid it or to avoid the wet, you know. But I think it was more of a desperation measure than anything else. I'll tell you a place that is amazing in Britain. Don't forget, in the summer, France has storms all the time, and they're always passing just to the south of Britain. There's a place called St Catherine's Lighthouse on the Isle of Wight, and if you go stay there even for one summer, you'll see some light shows that you didn't even think existed in Britain. Because they're just a mile or two out at sea, and it's just light show after light show through the summer of French storms and that don't quite make it to Britain but are quite visible from the Isle of Wight, and not so much inland. So it's beautiful, and there's only one photographer that I think goes and takes advantage of it, and his shots are amazing. It's all from Britain. Have a look at it. St. Catherine's Lighthouse lightning strikes. You'll see what I mean. But yeah, someone said to me once, I said, yeah, try and keep your feet together and hop. And then I said, really? And they said, yeah, but don't get it twisted. They say this shit, you're fucked. You're gonna die anyway. He said, because it's just, yeah. He said, there's certain situations where stopping that differential would be impossible. But he used to hang from fucking pylons and that. Fuck that. Yeah, I know. I understand they're safe, but still. I got Stitch. Right, an hour and 35 minutes, guys. Like I said, I did want to come online. It's great to come online, but I haven't really got the political stories. I'm supposed to be getting on with things. I have done, so I haven't got anything to feel guilty about. I've done a lot of things, but few more to get done, and I will kick myself if I don't get offline and get them done now, because it's my only day without the dog. So and like I said, I'm also going to kick myself a little bit for not having a little bit more material, but I honestly just come on over that story. But as usual, I end up chatting with you guys. I don't mind actually. I kind of enjoy that. But yeah, I need to get off and get my shit together and go and check that I've done everything I wanted to, because I'm running out of time. I've probably got about an hour left, and then I'll have her with me again. So that takes some of the options off the table in terms of what I can get done. So I need to go and check on that. But I will. Thanks for coming on, guys. Thanks for having a chat again, as always. And yeah, stay out of fires. All right, I'll catch you soon, guys. Thanks very much for watching. Thanks very much for modding. Thanks very much for anybody who watches this on replay. I'm Tom Fury. This is Zero News. I'm calling it a day for now. Take care, everybody. Be good. Happy New Year. Happy New Year.